This is what I'm going to change today, the AC compressor magnet. You do not need an AC removal tool set to do these, just snap ring pliers. Another optional piece of equipment to do this job is the lift. Although it does make shooting video a whole lot easier, this is a job that can easily be done on ramps. Today I'm going to fix the air conditioning on my daughter's Toyota Matrix. I've already done some troubleshooting and I found out that it is the magnet in the compressor clutch. The car has 210,000 miles on it. We just finished a trip from Salt Lake City, Utah back to Charleston. Luckily, it was been cool this past couple days, so it wasn't too bad. Would have been a lot better if it would have had AC, but we're going to fix that problem today. What I'm going to do is show how everything disassembles right here on the bench where it's easy to see. It'll be a lot harder to see what I'm doing up underneath the car. So that won't open far enough, and it's only got one hole in it. Some of these have two holes right here. So sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. To the drill press. Alright, sorry I missed that on video, but this hole is just a tiny bit smaller than this one because either pin will fit into this hole, but they won't quite go all the way in that hole. So I ended up just hooking it in the link, in the, I don't know what you call that, corrugations of the snap ring to get it to come off. But I didn't have the camera on while I did that, so anyway. And there's what I'm after. Woohoo! Another snap ring. And as always, one side of the snap ring comes loose easy and the other one doesn't want to come loose. Alright, by pulling on the pliers this way I've got both sides loose now. Well, I have both sides loose. The struggle is real. What I'm going to try to do is put the screwdriver between the snap ring and the base, work it loose, get it to come loose back here in the back. This is a snug one. Perfect fitting groove. And it's off. Putting that back in the car, going to be a totally different story. Alright, before I pry on that, make sure there's no make sure I'm prying on this little double plate in the back and pop. The little double plate I was referring to was that. I mean, not that this would hurt it any, but just want to stay away from bumping that. And that is a clutch magnet. So when I put this on the other car, if it is the same thing, just want to make sure this flange is completely clean and this flange is completely clean. Otherwise I'll be fighting this snap ring. I'm hoping these are the same. The compressor looks the same, the connector looks the same. So we're going to find out. Guess this would be a good time for a quick little how it works. The AC compressor, when it's running, cooling air, is actually that center shaft right there, turning. This links to that center shaft with the splines, rotates the center shaft. This is what your belt runs on, and you see it doing this. all the time on the car. It rides on this outer bearing and just spins freely. So when your AC is not on, the belt just has to go around that. No horsepower taken. This is locked to the center shaft and has a slight gap in it all the time. I don't know if I can make it move or not, but this is flexible in here, and this outer disc, this clutch, will move in and out. So when you turn the compressor on, when you press the button for AC, that gap closes. The reason that gap closes is because it puts power into this magnet that's sitting right behind this rotating pulley. When that magnet energizes, it just goes click, closes that, starts the center shaft spinning. What's happened in this car is this magnet is dead and getting power to the magnet, but it's not pulling the clutch shut. And I'm going to show you operational check of the magnet and give you a little idea of how the magnet actually works. I just got 2 wires hooked to a battery right here, so I've got positive and negative up here. I'm using this little additional test lead so that I can get down in the hole real easy. And then I'm just using my test light. This end's not hooked to anything. Just using my test light because of the probe on the end of it. Hook it into there, and that way I can make contact with that. Alright, I'm going to do this again. I already did this once, I just forgot to press record on the camera. So this is the one I took out. Nothing. Dead. This is the one I'm going to put in. You see that little spark? And the screwdriver jumps to the magnet. And there is your air gap that allows this to spin free. And then when you energize the compressor, turn the air conditioning on, the magnet pulls against this ring, closing that gap, and then you can hear it dragging right there. I can't push it as hard as the magnet can pull it, and that'll lock it up and it'll all start to turn as one. I'm not going to be able to show the assembly of this very well inside of the car, so I'm going to kind of show how it goes back together right here. I've already cleaned this all off real good, this surface. Keep all the dust off this surface. So there's only one alignment pin. The electrical connector has to be indexed to whichever direction it is for your car. This pin lines up with this notch right here. I'm not going to put the clutch back on here, or the electrical magnet back on here, because I need it for the other one. So the magnet will go on, index pin lined up with that slot. Then the pulley goes on. Snap ring will go in place. Then the important part. This goes back down over the splines, but you have an air gap right here. See that? How it's stuck against there now? This little tiny washer is what's in here to hold the air gap. So this washer has to be set on here. Of course, it's really easy because everything's slightly magnetic. Then that'll give you a little bit of air gap that you need, and it'll spin free. and then you just have to put the bolt in and torque it. And there is a reason for the holes being different sizes. The snap rings only goes in one way. It's got a little bit of a curve to this side, and it's perfectly flat on the back side or the bottom side that'll go against the bearing. So I'm sure that as they assemble it, there's only one way that their tool will work to put this snap ring in so that they don't get them in upside down. Just a tiny radius on these edges, like it was stamped from this side when it was made. And this side is completely flat and square on the edges. And that's the side that goes against the bearing, the flat side. So let's get this job started. Grab my custom-made belt tensioner tool and get the belt off and get underneath the car and get done what we need to do down there. If you disconnect this lead to the AC compressor and test it for power, with the AC on, engine running and all that, you should have power to this lead. I have power to this lead. That's why I'm pretty sure the AC magnet is bad. The only other thing could be like a bad connection right here. I don't even know if you can see that connector on the video. But I'm quite sure that connection is good. I can wiggle it around and we'll check it one more time. But so I'm going to disconnect that lead and start disassembling things. I thought I could break the torque on this bolt with a 6-point socket and just, smack the ratchet handle with a hammer, but that wasn't quite enough to do it. It might help a little bit if you go the right way there, dude. Helps if you go the right direction. That's what I just said. Never loosen a bolt. Well, not a bolt with right-handed threads anyway. Well, it's still not going to work. I need to figure something else out. Alright, I was amazed that this actually did work. Oops, you may have noticed there wasn't any torque on that bolt. I had already loosened it before I started shooting video. I don't know if that's cheating or not, but now we'll see how, if this will clear or not. If this clears, I might be alright. So this is where I'll show you what I'm doing in here on the bench. It's going to be pretty much impossible for you to see what's going on up in here because my hands will be in the way. I'll be running into the camera and knocking the camera out of line. This is just going to be removing this snap ring, pulling this off, then removing the snap ring from the magnet and bringing it forward and off. This is probably not going to get any better as I go deeper in the hole and try to get the magnet off. But what I did is I took a hook and scribe, got it in that, pulled it out, and walked it up off the top. I went to a car wash with it, washed everything off. This is a motor that had 209,000 miles on it. The guy that owned it before me believed in doing regular oil changes, but he didn't believe in washing a motor off at the car wash. And the reason it's so dirty down here is what I should have done is took this shield off and then gone to the car wash and sprayed it out. But I just washed it from the top. These aren't long enough. And these run into the frame. So I'm probably going to have to take the bolts off the compressor and let the compressor come down so I can get to the snap ring. Just 2 bolts on the bottom, and then the one on the top in the back isn't used. So 3 bolts, and I can swing that down. Now the only problem is it's going to wiggle all over the place while I'm working on it, and I got to kind of be careful with this radiator hose. I'm going to try to do this with the camera still running. So I'll get my head in the way. Yay, the snap ring pliers slipped and the snap ring jumped out when it slips. That never happens. Usually when it slips, it drops right back in the groove and you start over. So I've already disconnected the plug up here. That's just one clip that you have to push in on this side, and it's not real easy where it's at. So anyway, it's out. There it is. Make sure this surface is clean so all the parts go on all the way. These snap rings on stuff like this are a tight fit, and you would not believe what a little tiny piece of sand will do trying to get this thing back together, because it's got to lay right on them solid. The alignment pin that I talked about before goes right in there. The alignment pin right there has to be right in that slot. Otherwise your connector won't be in the right place. I mean, that alignment pin will drop in a lot of places.
Hey, down in front, we can't see back here.
Snap ring is on but not seated yet. Come on, baby. Drop in the groove. There we go. Drop right there.
A quick change to a punch in an attempt to look professional.
Not sure if that's dropping in. I don't think it was. Yeah, I almost screwed up. I had it this way over. I think it goes this way. Yeah, there's a little bevel on that. Helps it bite in. I don't know if you'll be able to see that on camera, but there's a little lip that bevels down. If I catch the light at the right angle. Try to put it in upside down. Alright, who's going to bet that it doesn't go in as easy as it did the first time? Because whenever you put something in backwards, it always goes together real easy. There, it dropped right in. I heard it click. But I will tap on it just a bit to make sure it is all the way in. Because I don't want to do this again. This job is entirely too much fun. Same thing with this. I'll clean it out on the inside of the bearing. Clean this all out.
I bet if I bolted the compressor on first, this would have been a whole lot easier.
There you go. Woohoo! And again, the snap ring only goes one way over. I mean, you can put it on either way, but it's supposed to go with that bevel edge to the top. I'm gonna put the clutch part of it on after the clutch plate part on after I get the rest of this together. The washer that is actually probably the shim to set the depth on this is still in here, so this goes on, bolt goes in, it's not going to work. I'm going to need a different angle on it. I had to use a slightly longer screwdriver and go against the sheet metal that goes around the radiator. Alright, all we gotta do is put a belt back on it. Alright, I gotta go get my screwdriver back. Clip's not staying clipped to the probe. None of you guys are getting a job in the next video.
I hope some people out there find this video helpful. As always, you know, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share it with somebody that needs their air conditioner fixed. My total cost to repair this was nothing. This AC compressor came off of a car that I had bought to take the motor out of, and I just kept a bunch of the other parts off of it. I definitely wouldn't want to pay what it would cost to have this job done at a shop. Doing this job on a 2000 to 2005 Toyota Celica would be exactly the same. That's what the compressor came off of that I used for the part.